And recording. So previously I had reacted to Der and Gray Vanushka. This is a band that I've always been curious about, and I've heard pieces here and there, and I actually saw them live about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. But I went not knowing much about their albums, not knowing much about their songs. I know I've heard a handful, but I couldn't tell you which ones I listened to. So I've been kind of going back and trying to rediscover them and actually put names to songs. So Venushka was the first one, and the one I'm going to do today is actually Macabre. Is it Macabre or Macabre? I always forget. In any case, this is Live Tabula Rasa from 2013. And it looks like it has English lyrics for me to actually enjoy and understand what he's saying. It's just a long video, 16 minutes, 25 seconds. So I'm going to try not to pause it too much, like maybe 3-4 times max for copyright purposes. But I definitely need something long to get my mind off of things since the world is burning. And go. I like the cymbals super high on the drum kit. Drumming sounds fantastic. I didn't want to stop it so soon, but the melody that he's singing sounds very familiar, like the da 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 na 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 na. Like I feel like that's a famous song. Like that melody sounds like I've heard it like a bunch of times before. And I also wasn't expecting like the acoustic sounds and like the clean sounds, but so far this sounds like it's about like a metamorphosis, like As soon as I saw the bugs on the screen before this even started, I was thinking Kafka, like something about butterflies or moths. And it looks like that's what the lyrics are kind of about, like the pupal stage and evolving. But yeah, this is that melody that he's singing. I can't pinpoint what it is, but like I've heard that before. And not from him, in another band. Great showman. Dissonant sounding keys. Kind of jazzy background with the keys, but it's meant to illustrate chaos and disorder. pause there. That's a little quick, but just because the way the section is kind of changing and morphing into something quicker paced and more dynamic. What they had going this whole time right now has been kind of like a jazzy, down tempo kind of like poetry session almost. It's really cool. They even had that sort of break with the spotlights going to either guitarist with the piano player playing like messy chords to like illustrate pain and change. So if this is metamorphosis, if it is bugs, as an example of the change. He also mentioned snake skin, like molting of a snake is also like growth and evolution and change. So macabre, you genuinely associate that with like death, but it could also be rebirth. And then the way he's singing, I said in my other video for Venushka, like he doesn't always say words. He likes using sounds to express feelings and emotions. So what he's trying to actually say doesn't necessarily always need words. And it's very emotional and very performative. Like it's very performance based what he's doing. And I dig that so much. I'm going to rewind it a little bit. Is he playing a 7-string guitar? That cheeky devil there. I understand a 7-string because it adds that extra layer of bass without having to down tune the guitar more. But I'm a stickler. I like 6 strings. Either way, the drumming sounds fantastic. Like it's for a live setting, it's mic'd amazingly. Let's get. Speaking of miking, I just had a little fritz. All right, back at it. Bass. Nice and dirty. Chonky. That chaotic sound in the background. Dum, 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 dum. Oh, it's the opposite. peace and become as one. Is your baby? Want to give it one last pause before it finishes. I know there's still 3 minutes left. This has been a journey. Excuse me. There's it's so weird to hear triplets being played so slowly, and because usually that chugging kind of rhythm is like the basis for like a verse, and it sort of moves the song along. But in this case, it's kind of just used as a backdrop to make what's happening more menacing. So the drumming's still like at a lower BPM. The guitar is switching from like the acoustic notes to just sort of the slow down kind of sweeps, the slow down melodic picking, and then also the way he's singing in like that abstract kind of way. So the triplets, it's just it's adding that menacing quality to make things that much darker. And the only thing I can liken his voice to, and this might be like a weird comparison, but there's an old Korn song called Daddy, which, if you haven't heard, I think you might be able to get an inference for why I'm making that kind of emotional comparison. So, for that one song, Korn is very emotional. And I liken that to this. But not just this, because every one of their songs has been a performance. And it seems like the singer is very emotionally invested in everything he sings and says and does. Even that backdrop where it's a camera behind him and you just see his back and he's kind of hunched over. Like, I don't know necessarily if I doubt he choreographs that, and he's just moving based off of the way he's feeling and the way the music is making him feel. But the silhouettes and the shapes that he's making add so much to the dynamic of the performance and the song. So it's just very, very interesting. Let me back up just a sec. Back to this melody.
ね
Beautiful. I like how respectful and quiet the audience was at the end of that, where it's just like they know they just experienced something awesome, and they know that the singer and the band kind of just left it all on stage, especially when he gets down on his knees and just where they give him that moment where they all collectively collect their breaths, but at the same time They don't want to overwhelm him with their applause because they know he's just exhausted himself, and they want him to be able to sit there and soak it in before they give him the appreciation. The organs, I was going to mention how in the background they sounded kind of like the sort of death kind of sound that you would hear at a funeral, or like the Undertaker theme. Uh, so I was going to mention that, and then they switched, stopped the drum, and went back and made that the finale, and made that like a big focus, like a big swell at the end. So Macabre is death, and then like he's talking about rebirth, but then it goes, and at the end it feels like it ends in death again. And he was talking about being on top, a bug being on top of a spider's body. And then later on, he was talking about, towards the end there, about eating and making sure there was nothing left of the body, like eating the legs out from underneath to stop it and trap it so that you can eat the whole thing, which goes back into the metamorphosis kind of state, because if you get rid of the legs, the body has like a cocoon kind of shape. So if you're eating the body last, you're using that cocoon imagery again to transform yourself into your better self or your current self by consuming and eating and growing in that way. So it's like lyrically, and it's very poetic, and it has sort of like that start, stop, but not just on like a linear plane. It's like as you're growing. So like I'm enjoying how much effort and thought he's putting into the lyrics. I'm enjoying how much effort and thought is being put into the constructions of these songs. I'm enjoying like pretty much everything about this. The acoustic pieces especially were like a nice like salvo. Like I wasn't expecting those, and they heightened the song so much. So just being able to switch back and forth between the high intensity and the low intensity. Then you have that sort of little bass solo in the middle as well, just to make sure that you realize that everything's dark. You have the menacing triplets having in the background, and the tom work on the drums. Like everything about this screamed dark and macabre. So like, yeah, it's 16 and a half minutes. It felt like it was like 7. Felt like it was 6 or 7. And that's with me pausing it as much as I did. Like that flew by. That flew by so quick. So quickly. Ooh. Ooh.